Welcome to the Ranger's Respite. I'm Philip, and today I'm looking at another whiskey from a distillery in the current bouts of the Virginia Whiskey Tournament. That's bouts 7 and 8. This is in the Belmont Farm. Distillery is in bout 7. And I'm looking at a kind of special release from them. This is the Belmont Farm Distillery 10-year-old special reserve single barrel strength Virginia whiskey. It is 116 proof. That's 58% alcohol by volume and 10 years old. A remarkably high age statement for a craft whiskey. Now, before I get into the whiskey, if you like these videos that I've been doing, if you want to support my channel and the Single Malt Frontier show, I have pens and I have bowls, both hand turned by me, for sale on an Etsy shop. The link will be in the description down below. If you like what I do and you'd like to see more, the best way to support me currently is by buying bowls from my Etsy shop. With that out of the way, let's talk about this whiskey. It is really strong on the oak influence on the nose. The really strong cinnamon, caramel, vanilla, all those good barrel notes. It is surprisingly sweet on the nose. This is, as I understand it, basically the same mash as their bonded Virginia whiskey, but aged an additional several years. Wonderful stuff. A little aggressive and drying on the palate, but that's, that's common for a whiskey of this sort of age statement that's aged in the United States. Lots of oak influence. Going back to the nose, the cinnamon has sort of dissipated a little bit. And there's a lot of like rich cherry cordial and dark chocolate on the nose now. Oh. If it gets down your throat when you're not expecting it, it will bite you. On the palate, there's... I'm not sure how to describe that. There's sort of almost a cough medicine-y note. Sort of like artificial cherry. So there's, on the palate, it is, it has a lot of those, like deep in its core, a lot of like those drying oak tannin, bittersweet notes, caramel and vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, and then it's got some like, interesting sort of layered notes around it. There's that artificial cherry. There's some like cocoa, coffee-ish notes. There's like a sweet sawdusty note that sort of lingers in the corners of the mouth. It's really good. I've got to say though, the finish is a little bit weak. The finish is primarily oak and char, and it doesn't really last very long, and it's primarily bitter and drying. But it's not bad. I rather like it. It is a hair expensive. So let's get to those three questions that I always ask. Do I like it? Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think that this is one of those examples where maybe aiming for that high age statement may have been actually to the product's disadvantage. I think that cutting it off a little bit earlier so that there's a little less overpowering oak would have done this product well, but it is still very good. I recommend trying it over ice because that'll cut down. Excuse me, that'll cut down a little bit on the bite of the alcohol a little bit, because it is 58% alcohol by volume, and that is a pretty high proof. Do I think it's a good value? It is about $80 a bottle, $79.99 when I bought it through VA ABC. And that's a fair bit of money. The price has come down a little bit, it looks like, to $75.99, which is a little bit better. There are bottles that I would rather get in a similar price range that have a similar effect. However, there are a few things on the market, especially from a craft distillery, with this age statement. And this is a good whiskey. It's just maybe not really to my liking. Do I recommend it? Yeah, sure. I think that this is one of those bottles that, even though it's not amongst my favorites, I can definitely still recommend because I know that there's an audience for this. I have a friend who really enjoys this stuff. They had to go out and buy a second bottle just to make sure that they would have more down the road. I think that it's a pretty good example of what craft can be at a high age statement. And I think that it also is a pretty good representation of the Belmont farm style. I mean, obviously, it's their special reserve. It is their hand-selected barrels at 10 years of age. But I think they really knocked it out of the park in terms of representing their house style. And it is a darn good whiskey. A little bit pricey, but darn good. Let's see. Do I have any other thoughts on it? I mean, Belmont Farm is in a rather unique position. Not only do they do a lot of grain to glass, their farm and surrounding farms to get the grain to produce their whiskey, they're also one of the oldest distilleries in the Commonwealth of Virginia. They've been running for a long time, and Mr. Miller and his team have a lot of experience in creating whiskey and know exactly what they're doing. There aren't many craft distilleries that have the decades of experience that they have at Belmont Farm. And that is part of what makes them unique. Again, they're in the polls this week. Polls closed today, Friday, the 28th at midnight. You can vote on Instagram. You can vote on Twitter. Links will be in the description down below. I implore you, please go vote. There's not a lot of time left, not a lot of votes in yet. It's come to my attention that it's hard to tell how to vote on Instagram. There is a regrettably small, hard to see little vote button at the bottom of the description. You just got to click that and it'll come up with the poll. And you just click the option for the distillery that you would like to support. If you want to talk about whiskey and other similar things, I'm a moderator of the Whiskey Lodge Discord server. We're really excited to have all sorts of new people, and I'm kind of sort of involved in a barrel pick. The details have yet to be really solidified, but it's coming out, and the first people to know about it will be in the Whiskey Lodge Discord server. It's going to be exciting, and I hope to see you there. And I believe that that covers everything. It's been good talking to you. Until next time, stay happy, stay geeks, sláinte.